So we're at the Groenheuwel farm here in the Grabes area. Of course, this is one of the farms where one of the workers died of heat stroke last week. Of course, 7 people, the doctor told us, have been died from heat stroke in the last week. But let's speak to the Minister of Employment and Labour, who of course is visiting this area today to look at conditions here. Minister, tell us in terms of what your officials told you. They were here last week shortly after the workers died. What is your assessment of the situation?
Well, I must say I'm here together with the MEC for Agriculture, Environmental Affairs, the Land Reform and Rural Development, together with my DG. We met with the employers. In fact, we met with our officials in the morning. They gave us their explanation. What they have thus far is just the preliminaries. It's not yet for public consumption. We also now met with the management of this farm. The owner is not there. And we were trying to get some information, which we said it's not going to be used for investigation, because the investigation is going to be done by our professional inspectors, who have already started gathering in the information. But we sat and had discussions about some of what we think are the mitigating factors, issues which they must do so that we prevent this situation in this farm. And amongst others, we've talked about them re-looking at their operational hours, so that when the temperatures are very high, they are able to deal with that. And we have also agreed with them that there's a program which we want them, together with the MEC of Agriculture and the MEC of Health, of bringing in the services to the people in terms of monitoring the health of some of these workers, because you know the farm workers are amongst the worst paid, and they won't be able to afford private doctors. But the issue of checking the underlying causes is very important, and we've agreed with the management that we will be looking into such strategies. Thus far, what is a bit disturbing is that the worker from this farm was buried yesterday, and he was from Mafikeng, am I right? Yes. And without any autopsy, which means the cause will never be known, but we will be insisting that that investigation has to be done. And that's what we got when we're here. But we will release our report, because people have died, and yeah, we'll go to their families now to express our condolences, because some of them have lost their loved ones, they've lost their breadwinners. That's why we're here.
You spoke about changing working hours to make it more flexible in terms of heat wave. Are you looking at how to enforce that side of thing, or is it just like I'm giving you advice on what to do?
No, for now, we are just giving them an advice. We can't prescribe how they have to do it, but they must take into consideration the conditions at the moment. It will depend what our inspectors are coming up with as recommendations, and once those recommendations come, we will enforce those recommendations, depending what recommendations they are coming up with. But we're calling on all the employers in the farms to start thinking seriously about this. The issue of workers having short breaks very quickly, especially when this weather is like this, because the heat wave is all over the country, and we don't want to see the worst. So all the employers must be able to take into consideration the working conditions under which the workers are working, because to us these are basic occupational health and safety issues. So tomorrow, the MEC, you can interview, she will be bringing the Agricultural Association to talk about some of their programs, including this particular issue we're talking about. So it's a responsibility, or the health and safety issues are a responsibility of the employers as much as it's also our responsibility.
Minister, just a final question. You spoke about this report that's being, investigations are continuing. When are we likely to see the final report?
I will leave that to the inspectors because it takes time. There are no shortcuts. It takes time, and it can take 2 or 3 months or even 6 months, but we will leave that to the inspectors. But at the end, action will be taken if there was somebody who was negligent.
Thank you very much. Minister of Employment and Labour, Thulas Nxesi, of course, after visiting one of the farms where some of those farm workers died. Like you said, the farm worker who died at this property did not have post-mortem, and so there are questions surrounding the cause of that. He's going to visit another farm in this area also affected by the heat wave, and he says that investigation is still continuing, and a final report will be made available in due course in terms of what happened, what led to the deaths of the farm workers, and how to prevent it.